The wrestlers behind their shock. I'm not too sure whether this is part of the entertainment. Look at the guy at the back. They just all start coming up, grabbing him, pulling him away from the knocked out wrestler. You can see it's like
UFC champion Rampage Jackson. And we're about to show you video of what happened, but a warning for you, it could be tough for you to watch. Well, this happened last night at the Knox X Pro Wrestling Academy off of Lancashire. You see Rampage Jackson jump into the ring, slam Syko Stu to the ground, and then punch him.
No one expected Syko Stu's name to be trending worldwide. 1 week ago, he was just another independent wrestling veteran performing at Knox X Pro Wrestling in Sun Valley, California. Then came the night that changed everything. What was supposed to be a simple exhibition match spiraled into chaos when Rampage Jackson, the 20-year-old son of UFC legend Quinton Rampage Jackson, slammed Syko Stu hard onto the mat and followed it up with more than 20 strikes. It was raw. It was violent. It was live-streamed for the entire world to see. The clip spread like wildfire. Fans watched in shock as referees and wrestlers scrambled to stop the assault while Stu lay motionless in the ring. By the time paramedics carried him out, headlines were already calling it one of the most disturbing scenes in recent wrestling memory. LAPD launched a felony battery investigation. Independent wrestling shows canceled Rampage Jackson's appearances. Major outlets from People to CBS Sports ran the story, replaying the moment that blurred the line between scripted entertainment and real-life violence. For days, one question lingered. What about Syko Stu? Now we finally have the answer.
The family have put together a GoFundMe to raise money to support Stu Smith and his family during this time, and unbelievably is already surpassed I think $100,000.
In his first public statement since the attack, Syko Stu revealed he is finally out of the hospital and recovering at home. His family confirmed what fans had feared since that brutal night. The injuries were severe. He had suffered major head trauma, multiple facial fractures, and serious dental damage after being knocked unconscious in the ring. But his message wasn't anger-filled. It wasn't even about lawsuits or revenge. Instead, Syko Stu wrote that he was deeply grateful for all the love and support he has received since the incident, adding that he remained in good spirits despite everything, as he begins what doctors say will be a long road to recovery. His wife launched a GoFundMe campaign within hours of his release from the hospital. Wrestling fans, MMA fighters, and even people far outside the combat sports world came together to donate. The fundraiser crossed $50,000 in less than a day and surged toward the $200,000 mark by the end of the week, proving just how many lives Syko Stu has touched during his years on the independent circuit. Make no mistake, this wasn't a case of a wrestler toughing it out after a scripted spot went wrong. The medical reports confirmed that when Syko Stu arrived at the emergency room, he was completely unconscious. He had suffered fractures to both his upper and lower jaws. His maxilla, the bone that forms the central structure of the face, was broken, a serious injury requiring reconstructive surgery. He lost multiple teeth. His upper lip was split open. Family members said he was sedated for several days as doctors stabilized him. When he finally woke up, he was told about the outpouring of support from fans worldwide. One relative described him as overwhelmed but thankful, noting that he had no memory of the attack itself, only of warming up before the match and then waking up in the hospital surrounded by family.
Clothesline taking a little too much time. And that's what happens when you start focusing on the outside, focusing on the audience. Fireman carries, Stu drops him. Triple A. You can't do that to my cut!
To understand why this incident hit so hard, you have to know who Syko Stu really is. Born Stuart Smith, he isn't just a weekend wrestler chasing viral fame. He's a U.S. military veteran who began wrestling in 2009 as a way to cope with PTSD after returning home from service. Over the years, he became a cornerstone of California's independent wrestling scene, known for his charisma, his willingness to mentor younger wrestlers, and his reputation for never phoning it in, no matter how small the crowd. Fans describe him as someone who would stay after shows to sign every autograph, take every photo, and thank everyone who bought a ticket. Fellow wrestlers call him a professional in the ring, someone who always prioritized safety while still giving audiences a show worth remembering. That's part of why the attack shocked so many people. This wasn't a reckless rookie who didn't know how to protect himself. This was a veteran, someone respected by peers and beloved by fans, suddenly left unconscious on the mat because a scripted performance turned real.
What, you don't know me?
Hell no.
The guy immediately apologized when he realized Raja wasn't another wrestler.
I apologize. I appreciate it. I didn't know.
Raja accepted the apologies, but later on was literally rage-baited by his own chat into taking revenge.
The guy's not dead, and he's able to communicate at least a little bit.
As Syko Stu rested at home, the video of the attack was still spreading across the internet. It had started on independent wrestling forums and Twitter clips, but within 24 hours it reached mainstream outlets. The headlines were all variations of the same theme: son of UFC legend involved in shocking wrestling assault. By the time LAPD confirmed they were investigating the incident as a possible felony battery case, the footage had been seen millions of times. Detectives told reporters they were reviewing medical records, event footage, and eyewitness accounts before deciding whether to recommend charges to the district attorney's office. So far, no one has been arrested. Rampage Jackson left the venue with family after the incident, and his father, Quentin Rampage Jackson, publicly confirmed that Raja was cooperating with investigators. Prosecutors said they often wait for full medical reports before deciding on charges because the severity of the injuries can determine whether the case is classified as a misdemeanor or a felony. For Syko Stu's family, though, the legal process isn't the immediate focus. Their priority is his recovery, surgeries, dental reconstruction, physical therapy, all of which will take months.
Who is Rampage? He's like a
on,
thumb
bro.
wrestler.
This boy getting
Come on.
more clout by dudes tonight than girls.
Hey,
I like
respectfully,
it. You
shut
right.
the fuck up.
You're right, 100%.
No handshake on that.
All right, respect.
I'm a dad.
I know,
Respectfully.
I know. That's
While Syko Stu kept his public comments brief, Rampage Jackson's father made several statements as criticism mounted online. On social media, Rampage Jackson said he did not condone his son's actions and expressed concern for Syko Stu's health. He also revealed that Raja had suffered a concussion during training days earlier and had been told he would get payback in the ring after being hit with a beer can during the same show. That statement raised new questions. Was the payback moment supposed to be scripted? If so, why wasn't it rehearsed or cleared by medical staff? And why was a concussed performer allowed to participate at all? Independent wrestling schools like Knox Pro often operate without the strict medical regulations used in professional boxing, MMA, or major wrestling companies like WWE. At those levels, fighters undergo pre-fight medicals, ringside doctors monitor every event, and referees are trained to stop matches the moment a fighter can't defend themselves. Knox Pro issued a short statement promising full cooperation with authorities and a review of its safety protocols. But many critics said that wasn't enough, calling for independent wrestling promotions nationwide to adopt concussion checks and mandatory ringside medics at every show.
Had broken bones in his face and lost, quote, a lot of teeth. He was choking on his own blood and teeth. Somebody reminded me there's kids there. I was like, oh my God. He confirmed...
Is there kids there? You know, Stu's mom was there.
Yeah.
Which must have been, I mean,
horrifying.
Unbelievably horrific.
The wrestling community was split. Some performers said the video showed a clear line being crossed, one that couldn't be excused by inexperience, concussion symptoms, or claims of a spot gone wrong. On wrestling podcasts, former WWE and AEW wrestlers called for lifetime bans if investigations confirmed Raja acted with intent to harm. Others pointed to the lack of medical oversight and the chaotic nature of independent wrestling shows as the real problem. One promoter told Fightful that many small wrestling schools operate on razor-thin budgets, often skipping trained referees or medical staff because of costs. But everyone agreed on one point. The system failed Syko Stu. Whether it was negligence, miscommunication, or aggression that went too far, the end result was the same. A performer seriously injured, a family facing mounting medical bills, and an entire industry under scrutiny. Another development came when fans noticed that WWE branding quietly disappeared from Knox Pro Wrestling's website and social media pages after the incident. For years, Knox had used images and logos suggesting a loose association with WWE talent and trainers, though no formal partnership existed. After the attack, those images were removed without explanation. Neither WWE nor Knox Pro issued a statement linking the change to the Rampage Jackson incident, but wrestling journalists speculated that WWE wanted to distance itself from the controversy while the investigation was ongoing. Through all the chaos, one thing became clear. Fans love Syko Stu. Within days of his hospitalization, the GoFundMe campaign launched by his wife exploded past its initial goal. Independent wrestling shows across California announced charity events to help with medical expenses. AEW star Chris Jericho reportedly made a private donation. MMA fighters shared the link on social media, encouraging their followers to chip in. Messages poured in under hashtags like #PrayForSykoStu and #JusticeForStu, with fans posting photos from past shows where Stu stayed late to meet kids, sign autographs, or pose for pictures with families. One viral tweet read, "Syko Stu was always the guy who gave more than he got. Time to give back." Syko Stu's doctors have been cautious but optimistic. The fractures to his jaw and face will require multiple surgeries, including dental implants and reconstructive procedures. Physical therapy will take months. Family members said he's already walking on his own and talking more each day, though eating solid food remains difficult because of the jaw injuries. Despite the challenges ahead, Syko Stu told relatives he wants to attend one of the upcoming charity shows being organized in his name, not to wrestle, but to thank fans in person for their support. For someone who built his career on connecting with crowds, it seems fitting that his first public appearance after the attack might come at a fundraiser packed with the same fans who've rallied around him since that night.
I think this is clearly a battery with serious bodily harm, which can be a felony. But another thing that's interesting is I actually think this is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. Because let's not forget.
As Syko Stu focused on recovery, LAPD detectives continued piecing together the events of that night. Investigators reviewed the full livestream footage, interviewed wrestlers, referees, and fans in attendance, and requested complete medical records from the hospital. Under California law, felony battery charges require prosecutors to prove serious bodily injury and, in some cases, criminal intent. Legal experts speaking to ABC7 Los Angeles explained that injuries like Syko Stu's, multiple facial fractures, lost teeth, and a concussion met the threshold for serious harm. But intent could be harder to prove. Was Rampage Jackson acting with the intent to cause lasting injury, or was this the result of a poorly supervised performance gone wrong? A former prosecutor told CBS Sports that cases involving sports or entertainment events often fall into a legal gray area. If organizers encouraged payback in the ring or failed to intervene when things spiraled out of control, liability could extend beyond the individual throwing punches. Civil lawsuits, the expert said, might be more likely than lengthy prison sentences, especially if Syko Stu eventually makes a full recovery. Still, the LAPD confirmed the case remained open, and detectives had not ruled out recommending felony charges once their investigation concluded. While lawyers debated charges, the independent wrestling industry faced its own reckoning. For years, safety protocols at small shows have varied wildly. Some promoters hire trained referees and carry medical insurance. Others run shoestring operations where events unfold with little oversight. Wrestlers often perform through injuries, concussions go undiagnosed, and on-site medics are rare. After the Rampage Jackson incident, wrestling podcasts, columnists, and even some retired WWE stars called for sweeping reforms. They pointed to professional boxing and MMA, where athletic commissions require pre-fight medicals, ringside doctors, and mandatory suspensions after knockouts. Fox Pro Wrestling promised to review its procedures, but critics argued the entire industry needed change. Some suggested state athletic commissions should begin regulating independent wrestling the same way they oversee amateur combat sports. Others proposed a national governing body to standardize medical checks, referee training, and insurance coverage. Whether those reforms actually happen remains to be seen. Through all of this, Syko Stu has kept his public comments short, focusing on gratitude rather than blame. Friends mentioned he understands why fans want accountability, but is more concerned with healing than lawsuits or criminal charges right now. His family confirmed he has multiple surgeries ahead, including dental reconstruction, but doctors expect him to make a full physical recovery over time. One independent promoter who visited him in the hospital said, "Syko Stu talked more about wrestling again someday than about pressing charges. He loves this business," the promoter said. "This isn't how he wants the story to end." Still, those close to him admitted the emotional recovery may take longer than the physical one. Getting back in the ring after such a traumatic incident won't be easy.
MMA fighter Rampage Jackson is reportedly being investigated by the LAPD after appearing to beat his opponent unconscious during a live-streamed wrestling match. Video shows Jackson.
As summer turned to fall, three things became clear. Syko Stu faced a long recovery, the LAPD investigation continued, and independent wrestling was under more scrutiny than ever before. If prosecutors file charges, court hearings could stretch into next year. Civil lawsuits might follow, especially if investigators find KnockX Pro failed to provide adequate medical oversight. Meanwhile, wrestling promoters across the country quietly began adopting new safety measures, voluntary medical checks, written waivers, and emergency protocols, hoping to prevent future tragedies and protect themselves from liability. For Syko Stu, the focus remains on getting healthy. Family members say he plans to release a longer public statement once he's completed his first round of surgeries. Fans hope he'll appear at one of the upcoming charity shows being organized in his name, though doctors haven't cleared him for public events yet. As the dust settles, Syko Stu's story has become bigger than one wrestler, one show, or one viral clip. LAPD detectives confirmed the case remains open. Prosecutors are still weighing felony battery charges against Rampage Jackson, and legal experts say civil lawsuits are likely no matter what happens in criminal court. The investigation will determine whether this was criminal intent, negligence, or a perfect storm of bad decisions leading to one man's devastating injuries. Meanwhile, wrestling promoters across the country are already feeling the ripple effects. Some have announced mandatory medical staff at ringside for all future events. Others are drafting stricter performer clearance policies, requiring proof of fitness before anyone steps into the ring. Fans and wrestlers alike are demanding that what happened to Syko Stu never happens again. And what about Syko Stu himself? His family says he faces months of surgeries and rehabilitation, but his spirit remains unshaken. He's told friends he hopes to return to a wrestling event, not to compete, but to thank the fans who have supported him financially and emotionally since that terrible night. For a man whose career was built on connecting with people, that moment may be just as important as any match he's ever wrestled. As viewers, we're left with tough questions. Should independent wrestling face stricter safety rules? Should Rampage Jackson be banned from performing, or does this deserve a day in court before judgment? How much responsibility lies with the promoters who allowed the segment to go forward in the first place? Tell us what you think. Should this incident change wrestling forever, or is it a tragic one-off? Share your thoughts in the comments below, support Syko Stu's recovery if you can, and stay tuned, because this story is far from over.